Hey guys, Tbull here. Today we're checking out the new Tier 8 German cruiser Ager. It's the new campaign reward ship, of course. There's the build I got on it. There's the build that I switched it to. I did in this game have the secondary mod in slot 1, and there's the armor scheme. Note the nose section fairly robust, actually, which is one of the more attractive bits of the ship. But getting back into the build for a moment, when I first was playing that, it's got long range secondary, so I was trying to jam a secondary build into it. Even had a Franz von Hipper in the pilot seat, if you can believe it. But you guys luckily talked me out of that during the last stream. Just recognizing the secondary as well, you get a little bit of range on them. They're just not gonna, they don't have the caliber or the oomph, the numbers or anything. There's no, it just doesn't make sense to lean into the build. So tried it out for a while, didn't really, get too much out of it. So went for more of a kind of a reload build. Anyway, what's the thoughts on the ship? I'm probably not going to be playing it too much. I mean, once in a while, you guys are probably going to trick me into playing it when we're doing like pick premiums on the streams or something. But as long as I can remember anything about it, I'm going to remember that I don't like playing the ship. It's just not for me. There's going to be some of you guys that like it. It's kind of Siegfried-esque, in terms of how it feels. Inaccurate guns, I should say, but fairly robust AP attack. Now, the Siegfried, which by the way is a tier lower, has I think it's 380 calibers. These are 305s, I want to say. So the reliability is not there. We're up a tier, so we're encountering stronger armor, and we got the lower cal. So I don't know. It just isn't for me. The guns are too randomized, and the payout in terms of the damage isn't there. Yudachi, I want to point this out. He is switching lanes, which kind of is a little problematic in terms of the deployment. We got one destroyer in the game. Everybody on the map kind of sees where he is to start with and deploys accordingly. Now, this is always going to be a tough position for me to take, but him coming over here, I was like, well, we got to support him, especially with B being captured here. So now we're kind of posting up against Musashi and Missouri, which isn't what I want to be doing. Not to mention we got a destroyer right in front of us who's probably in the mood to torp something, and it's a good chance he's going to try and torp us. So, not what I wanted to be doing with my life, but nevertheless, here we are. But getting back to the ship, I don't know. It is what it is. Some of you guys suggested doing HE. It does have a high fire starting chance, but, the reliability of that, not that great. I played it in a couple AI games just to see what sort of damage you can squeeze out of it. And, in terms of my experience, you're just going to do better with the AP build. But the AP build isn't that good for what you're getting. So it is what it is. I go back to the tankiness. If you can get it in tight, I think you can definitely have some fun sequences there, kind of brawling. But beyond that, I don't know. You guys let me know if I'm missing anything. If you've been playing the ship, you like it. Of course, I want everybody who's watching to get as many opinions as possible because a lot of people like to watch these videos before deciding should I plop down the money or not. All right, so the more the merrier. You guys let us know what you think. Getting in this game here, we're getting shot by those two guys to the west, certainly. And, we're not going to hold up long against Musashi, certainly not. So I figured we can take our chances over here. They're slightly better. Now, initially I beach on this island thinking maybe we can post up against just the main. The main is the most left-hand side, or he's on the left-hand side of that pack. But noticing these guys, number one, still have shots from across the map, and number two, they're still interested in me over the dudes that are pushing them. All right, we can't stay there. We need to continue to back up. So we move forward a little bit, and then we're going to conduct a serpentine backup, getting into this bunch with the turpits and whatever that thing is here. So this is a god-awful position. Putting ships on your own team like this close is very difficult. Number one, you always open up the threat to getting torped. Multiple ships torped in one salvo. Now their destroyer is dead, certainly here. But it just makes maneuvering very difficult, right? You got to account for not only the islands, your direction, your turn, all that, but now we got to take into account other ships. And by the way, you'll even have situations where, like, if you drop spot, they're shooting at your team, the teammate that's by you, and, they're due to the incoming dispersion, you're still going to get hit even though you're not lit up. So there's no good to be had here, but this was the only play that I got. Now I'm trying to figure out, can we turn left? No. All right, well, I'm just going to try and post up and slow this thing down because we do have the middle cap. We got our home cap, so we have a 2-to-1 here, and it looks like we got a good shot to get A. Right, the two guys that are playing A don't have any power to project into it, so as long as the destroyer isn't completely nuts, which is possible all the time, he would get on the cap and then grab it, right? In that case, we're going to have a 3 cap to 1 lead and a good slowdown maneuver over here. Not a bad play to make. So that's kind of the thought process here. I would like to get or stay alive as long as possible if we can continue to do some damage. Now we've switched to the HE here on the main. We're getting a couple fires here and there, certainly. But, you know, raw damage like that, I'm seeing 5,000. If I can get that out of a cruiser that can shoot twice as fast, shoot an HE, I'd rather be doing that. So I don't see the HE being that valuable on this thing. And the AP, again, I don't think we see any super shots on the AP in this game. I think, you know, I've certainly had some, but you got to be kind of uptight and broadside to get that reliably. So, all right. Anyways, moving back here. Now we got an interesting play here. I mean, they're severely grouped up, right? The red team here is not doing well to open the game, and we're taking full advantage. Now, this game, I'm just going to give you a little foreshadowing. We're not going to be live for much longer, but I am going to narrate the full game because there's going to be some fascinating plays made towards the end here. So if you sense my imminent doom, don't just immediately switch the video off. This game gets fairly interesting here. But we're just trying to stay alive at this point in time, see if we can't get whacked by 2 torps. We do, in fact, though. But now I'm just like, okay, we're going to get up to this dock, let all the non-essentials off, and then maybe we got time to grab lunch. You know, we're going to have a rough afternoon here. Let's just see what happens. But I'm trying to post up here. I'm trying to see if we can flip around and get that other back torp off, because at this point in time I'm like, we're gonna die, right? But if we can pump out another X amount of damage, that improves the finish, right? So obviously we can't torp off the screen right hand side of the ship left, the side facing the dock there. So now we're gonna just try and position, because we got a reload coming up relatively soon here, and the rubric, maybe we can get a wicked shot in the side. Now we do have the AP loaded here, and close range like this, it could be quite vicious. But noticing he's going fast enough that he's not going to hit that torp, and noticing the turpets here coming behind, now we're focused on him. Hoping the rubric doesn't kill me here. He certainly could have. We fire our guns in retaliation, and now we're about to launch on the turpets, and that's the end of this, right? He's going to launch here in a second, but luckily he wasn't ready to dodge our shot, and we do get a kill on him after all. So not a horrible play. And we're not quite down yet here. Maybe we can get another shot off or 2. No accumulated damage, so I guess we're still going. Rubric coming back here. Let's see if we can get a shot. He's actually bouncing off the island or turned around here. We'll see if we can knock a gun or something. Get a little bit more damage. There we do. And I think he gets us with that shot. So, I mean, the writing was on the wall, obviously. But it was kind of an interesting little sequence. That was probably the most enjoyable brawl that I had in this thing this far. But at this point in time, I'm just kind of sitting here at my desk thinking, okay, that's a decent clip. I'm just kind of mentally going over, all right, let's see, could we highlight, you know, I got other footage that I've been shooting. We could show this, that, or the other thing. Trying to come up with a little bit longer videos. This is only about 9 minutes long at this point in time. I usually try and go for about 12 to 15, whatever, just to make it worth you guys a while to watch. But then I'm starting to look at the situation on the map here, and I'm thinking, okay, this game is unlosable, right? But what's going on with the carrier? All right, we're starting to notice, all right, the carrier's moving. He seems to be moving out into the open, and the destroyer seems to be rushing ships that can wreck him. And I'm looking at the top of the scoreboard there. They're flipping C, which should stabilize the background lead. And if they can get a nice lead by killing a bunch of ships that are killing themselves, well, this game that seems unlosable right on paper, at least if anyone who knows what they're doing is playing it, isn't looking so hot. So what do they kill? 2 ships there in rapid succession. Yudachi, of course, whiffs the suicide rush launch, gets radared as he smokes, and he's going to get absolutely obliterated. So probably not the wisest play to make there. But he definitely put the suicide back in Suicide Rush. So he's bringing it back. Team trying to, at this point in time, the Adachi he's probably hammering the shoot the cruiser button on the comms. Hopefully he is, because that's the only thing they can do. But now what's going on here? Oh, God. You don't want to see that the carrier creeping out the bottom of the camera as you're watching your Adachi get obliterated. What's this guy doing? He's got the fucking jug of Tito's vodka out as he's playing there, sitting on his lap. He's just drinking it straight. No idea what's going on here. Again, rushing the Petro or whatever that thing is in front of us. All right, so he had a loss-proof game. How is a loss-proof? Well, even though they flipped the C cap, we had the background lead, right? So all we have to do is sit back, and they have to come through these gaps. And the odds of them all coming through the gaps at the same time, unless they're all on comms together, is nearly zero. So at that point in time, you have a 3, 4, 5, 6 ships shooting one at a time. Boom, 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 boom. So if you can get the lead on a map like this where it's clearly divided into 2 sections, and it is here between the B cap and the C and D cap side, once you get the score lead there, you can only lose by gross incompetence. And my God, what do we specialize in on the blue team? Gross incompetence. He squirts through the smoke. Udachi's like, hold my beer. I got this. He's going to try and launch a salvo through the gap there that he's going by. Of course, he doesn't have the angle there. So he's basically throwing his ship away as well. And red, now all they have to do is figure out a way to put a little bit more hurt on us. Now we do have a carrier on both sides at this point in time. We're going to lose ours, of course, at some point in time in the near future. But that would give them a spotting advantage, right? Assuming they kill the destroyer, which you've seen what he's been doing. He's not going to be long for this life. Assuming they can kill the carrier, who again is rushing the Petro for some reason. Now we're going to have on the red team, they're going to have the ability to spot our ships. Those guys, they don't even have to reveal themselves. They can just wait for shots and slam these guys and then catch up in the score there, right? Because the carrier is 110 points. The destroyer, we just lost the 75 points there. So the lead that we got isn't that great. If they can get one more ship, great. And now the carrier is backing up a little bit, finally, I think. But the battleship is like, okay, I'm not going to stick around to support. I'm going... At this point in time, I thought he was going to go all the way around the island trying to get D, which would have taken the rest of the match. But he does kind of post up here. I think he kind of, at this point in time, realized, all right, I can't go anywhere. You can't lose the carrier here, though, so it's a little irresponsible going this way. But he does get a torp salvo off, which is actually a pretty nice salvo here. Petro is going to bite it after killing the carrier, and that's a key play here. That 85 points... Red just lost, kind of bounces out the 110 we lost just a moment ago. All right, so we still got a nice gnarly lead. Still got about 2 minutes left. And at this point in time, or for the remainder of this match, rather, I think the rest of these blue ships play pretty well. Okay, we can stick around and watch it here. Again, they got the lead. If I'm controlling both of those ships, I wouldn't push into these because, again, they're going to probably encounter... Well, at this point in time, they just got the one cruiser and then the carrier who's going to be ever present anyway. So, I don't know. I still probably would have played a little bit more conservative. But since one teammate is pushing in to attack, good play for both of them to do so, right? You're going to encounter situations in this game where you're going to say to yourself, all right, teammate, I'm watching what you're doing. I don't agree with that play, but you're making it. I can't talk you out of it, so I can either resign you to your fate, let you die. Let's say he's fighting someone he's going to lose. Or if you jump in, you put yourself in some danger, but you might save him, or perhaps you can kill the guy that's likely to kill the dude that your teammate's going to lose to. So sometimes you just got to say to yourself, okay, I don't like that play, but nevertheless, that's the play that's been called up by the team, and we're just going to go ahead and try and execute it. So... Pretty good job closing out there, but I wanted to just point out, because you see this all the time, when you get to the end game, take a good hard look at the score, see how the score is moving up. If you got the majority of caps, You don't need to continue to attack, all right? And I know we got a lot of new players watching the channel right now because I'm seeing a lot of them in the stream chats, which is great. I try and give a lot of tips oriented to learning the game to new players, but it's one of the harder aspects of the game, but you want to start practicing it early, right? Understand that if you're controlling the background score, if you're controlling the majority of the caps, your win rate is going to go up, up, and up, right? The difference between a player that has a positive win rate and a player that doesn't is the one that's winning the games is playing the caps, the other one isn't. All right, that's the only difference. And the better you can play the game and focus on getting the caps, the higher the win rate. All right, so anyway, that's my look at the Ager. I'm not in love with it, but again, I think there's going to be some of you that are. So just take into consideration what you've seen and make your own decision. That's going to be it for that one. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the thumbs up. New to the channel, consider subscribing. Lots of warships coming all the time. Questions, comments, leave below, and we'll see you all later. Peace.